Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with 2nd Lieutenant Sand being transported to the exercise field, where his men are practicing on 8th April. The one who issued the order is Lieutenant Germanson. Next, 3 troops are also walking there. Private Graham, Colding, and Anderson, who are on vacation, but the fun is cut short. They have no idea why, all they know is they must come on time. Lieutenant Germanson greets Sand as he comes on the field. Sand is informed there is an intelligence report on the armaments movement in Kiel, Germany. A train carrying troops has also been observed on its approach to the border, in addition to the explosives. Sergeant Boongaard's motorcycle company, according to Germanson, is heading their way. Sand's men will provide backup. The 3 troops show up late. They are instructed to get their weapons, and participate in the practice. Germanson instructs Sand to allocate the 3 men to the Kitchik for the week. The soldiers keep practicing their shooting. They have no idea they are about to embark on their most challenging assignment yet. Following the shooting exercise, they are entrusted with changing the front tubes on their bicycles. They are instructed to go through the same drill, again and again. Boongaard wants them to complete the task in under 90 seconds. A soldier on a motorcycle approaches while they are eating. Lieutenant Colonel Hintz has left a note for him. He wants the drill to be called off, and the men are ordered back to the barracks. They get new information that the Germans are on their way to the border. The men must always sleep in uniform, and be prepared. The troops are told to stop eating and ride their bicycles back to the barracks. The men are each given 40 rounds of ammunition, and instructed to prepare themselves as well as their equipment. Some soldiers are beginning to question whether this is still an exercise. Something greater appears to be in the works. Sand advises they inform the soldiers about the situation. Concerning the Germans moving to the border, Germanson rejects the concept, claiming it is not their responsibility. Sand prepares his gun, and writes a message to his wife. Danish officers receive a call from Checkpoint 3, reporting significant activity on the border. The Germans are closing in on them. Lieutenant Colonel Hintz has requested that they wait for additional orders. Hintz requests to speak with the Major General. He demands his men be dispatched to the border. They are around 10 kilometers away. If they waited for the Germans to cross, his forces would be too late. His request is denied, since the order to step down comes from higher-ups. If troops are sent before the Germans cross the border, the Prime Minister considers it aggressive. Sand pays a visit to Sergeant Klostergaard's office, and informs him that both of them will conduct a room inspection. Private Anderson approaches Private Lawson, who is attempting to sleep. Anderson then requests he hand over his ammunition to Private Lundgren instead. Lawson decides to submit, in order to avoid a confrontation. Private Graham warns him not to. Graham also instructs Anderson and Lundgren to return to bed. Anderson confronts Graham, who he implies does not want the Danish to win, since he is German. Justizin requests they go to sleep, because they are already upsetting those who are attempting to sleep. He is then confronted by Anderson. The officers storm in, before a brawl can erupt, and are dismayed to see the soldiers did not follow orders. The soldiers have 2 minutes to remain silent. All men are then expected to sleep. Boongaard tells Sand outside that it's difficult for the soldiers to sleep in uniform. They discuss what will happen once the Germans cross the border. Boongaard's men will be the first in line, followed by Sand's men. The officers are assembling in the hope that a direct confrontation can be avoided. They are summoned to the radio room a few moments later. They receive a new report from Checkpoint 3, informing them the Germans have crossed the border, and are attacking them. The connection is then cut. Hintz notifies his troops, Denmark is now at war. All of the soldiers gather their belongings, and get on their bicycles. They are entrusted with preventing the Germans from capturing Lundtofteberg, until assistance from other barracks arrives. They begin riding their bikes in full battle mode. The motorcycle business is coming their way in the morning, as they draw closer to the border. They appear to be too much for the Germans, so they will relocate to another border. Lieutenant Germanson is taken aback by this, as their job is to protect Lundtofteberg at all costs. They can't just walk across the border. Boongaard instructs Sand to persuade the lieutenant to accompany them, as Lundtofteberg is beyond repair. Boongaard and his team then cross the border. The bicycle company is now self-sufficient. The officers devise a strategy, and the team is divided into 3 halves. The troops have taken their positions, and are waiting for the lieutenant's orders. Since the Germans are utilizing armored vehicles, they are instructed to deploy machine guns first. The crew waits, knowing that the attack is only a matter of time. Sand and his soldiers can see the German armored vehicles. He requests his squad to wait for his signal. When they are given the order to fire, they are surprised to see the bullets are simply bouncing off the enemy's vehicles. Two of the vehicles arrive a few moments later. Sand instructs his men to retreat, but some are deafeningly quiet. One of the armored trucks has sustained damage. While the Germans are on foot, the other armored vehicle shoots at them, injuring Colding severely. Sand examines him, and removes Colding's tag, knowing he will not make it. Sand's soldiers are able to flee the Germans. They find a safe haven. An elderly lady is surprised to discover armed men have entered her home. Sand soothes her and asks her to remain quiet. The squad is currently waiting to see if the Germans can locate them. They feel confident they are safe after a few minutes. He notifies his men that they are departing for the north. That is the location of the command center, where they will be reunited with Lieutenant Colonel Hintz. He informs Private Graham that he will be his second in command. The team leaves the house. The elderly lady invites them to remain. Sand says that they are at war, and his soldiers would not wish to hide in the same way. The troops return to their bicycles. It'll be a lengthy journey. Sand's troops arrive at the command center safely, where they run into Lieutenant Colonel Hintz again. The officer inquires whether they are supposed to guard Lundtofteburg. Hintz is also curious about the whereabouts of the lieutenant and the motorcycle company. Sand recounts that his crew was forced to evacuate, after being surrounded by German forces. He also claims that the lieutenant has been apprehended. After fleeing the Germans, the motorcycle company is heading to a new border. Sand notices Hintz exiting the command center. He can't help but confront him about it. The officer admits no reinforcements are on their way. The two barracks that are scheduled to deploy reinforcements will hold their troops, to protect their respective districts. Hintz urges him to lead his team to Haderslev, and battle there. They have no control over Lundtofteburg. Sand then notifies his group, they are on their way to Haderslev. The troops bike through the mountains on their bicycles. When Anderson's bike needs to be repaired, they can take a break. Sand notes Private Mrskov is still in shock, after witnessing the death of Private Colding. He approaches him and assures that he has the full backing of the squad. When Anderson confronts Private Graham about requesting him to change his bike's tire quickly, a disturbance develops. Sand intervenes to keep the argument from escalating. The bicycle has been repaired, and the squad resumes their trek. The team sets out on their journey, and is reunited with the motorcycle firm. They are startled that the natives are still around, unaware of the hazards of remaining. Sergeant Boongard meets Sand. He adds that they are using the region for strategic purposes, but the residents refuse to go. Sand informs him they were forced to depart Lundtofteburg, due to the outcome of the trade. Boongard inquires if there has been a casualty among the Danish soldiers. He informs that Private Colding has been murdered. Sand also notifies Boongard that there will be no reinforcements, and that the new order is to build a fresh line of defense in Haderslev. Boongard is stunned, and doesn't understand the strategy. He declares he would not sacrifice his soldiers, but Sand reminds him of the command. The officers are informed the Germans are on their way. As the Germans close in, the soldiers begin preparing. They start firing, and a youngster is killed in retaliation by the Germans. It's clear their armaments are no match for the Germans. Sand orders his men to retire yet again. They locate a truck, load the bicycles, and leave the location. Private Justison gets behind the wheel. Sand instructs him to avoid the main route, in order to avoid colliding with the Germans. Private Justison advises them to go down Logamkloster Road, since it is safer, and reveals that he was born and raised in Haderslev. He also informs Sand that he wishes to marry and work as a shopkeeper. The squad arrives in Haderslev, and meets up with the motorcycle firm at a checkpoint. Some soldiers have blocked the road. Sand must explain to the person in charge the significance of the two companies' involvement. They are then let in. Colonel Hartz meets Sand. He introduces himself and his crew to the officer, and informs him that they are to report to him. According to Sand, the Germans also used armored vehicles and motorized infantry. His team is directed to defend a specific position. He notifies his guys that additional ammo will be sent. They then proceed to the location to reinforce the defenses. Sand ensures every soldier is appropriately placed. Germans on foot come moments later, and a shootout starts. When the tank arrives, they must retire once more, because their weapons are ineffective. When the tanks target Mrskov and Anderson's locations, they almost kill them. They are able to flee and survive the onslaught. Private Justison gets injured while attempting to flee. Sand requests that Graham provide cover, while he and Lawson rescue the wounded soldier. They are able to rescue Justison. As the Germans close in, the team retreats further. Justison is severely bleeding, and needs quick medical assistance. Sand must make a decision about his next step. Will they fight on and let his men die? Sand is overwhelmed by the amount of work that needs to be done, and he has little time to make decisions. He asks everyone to surrender, because they are in a losing war, and one of his guys needs a doctor. They raise their hands, and plead with them not to shoot. Emotions are high, because the Germans are unsure whether the Danish soldiers are trying to set a trap. Sand orders his men to wait behind him, since he is unsure whether the Germans will open fire. German soldiers capture the team. Sand's men are safe, now that the war is done. Sand takes a box of cigarettes, and distributes them to everyone. They are then instructed to form a line and march. A German officer inquires if any of them speak German, and Graham is indicated by Sand. Lieutenant Becker is introduced by the German officer. He wants to know why the Danish soldiers continued to fight, after their government had surrendered. Sand is perplexed by this. Becker says Denmark surrendered 2 hours ago, and offers to ride with Sand, but Sand declines, since he likes to be with his guys. Becker extends a salute to him, and Sand turns back and joins his troops on the bus. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.